everybody. Welcome. Welcome to The Secret to Becoming Ageless. As everybody's joining, I'll just offer a little welcome to you all. I would love to know where everybody is tuning in from, so please put your locations in the chat so we can see how far apart and close together we all are. Thank you for being here today. If it's your first time attending a Quantum Touch event, welcome. If you have never seen my face before, my name is Renee Morris. I'm a Quantum Touch practitioner and ambassador, and I'm thrilled to be your hostess here today for this exciting event. And I do believe that I'm as excited as you are to hear about these exciting new techniques for slowing, stopping, and reversing the aging process. And we're very lucky today to have Quantum Touch instructors Deborah Gair and Henri Furgiuele to share with us some insights into these new techniques, as well as an exciting opportunity to take this workshop in person in Portugal a little later this year in October. And there's also an early bird discount registration for $300 off for that workshop, which we'll talk about a little bit later today. So thank you for your presence. Thank you for being here. Welcome to you all, and let's learn about how we can all become ageless. So I'll pass the floor over to you, Deborah. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Renee, for that lovely, warm, and enthusiastic introduction. It's so good to be with each and all of you and share becoming ageless and what we've been learning about it so far. It's been extraordinary. And I guess this really started maybe about 18 months ago when we began having quantum touch retreats once again after the whole COVID episode. And what we started to notice as we were showing up for these retreats in Mexico and Florida was that folks within the quantum touch community who'd been running quantum touch energy for maybe a decade or 2 decades, they hadn't aged a day. And in fact, Richard said to me, these people, I swear they're getting younger. It's really, really remarkable. And I remember as clear as anything, he said to me, it was almost like an invitation. He said, I wonder what would happen if we meditated on the idea that even for folks who hadn't been using quantum touch for many, many years, what if even beginners in quantum touch could experience this incredible youthing effect just by learning the basic fundamentals of quantum touch and then adding on becoming ageless, which is level 7. So that's where it started. And Richard and myself, we both meditated on the same day, but in a different place. And it was just wonderful and awe-inspiring what happened, because we each and both downloaded the exact same thing, even though we were thousands of miles apart. And we downloaded something called the infinity vortex. And that really is the fundamental key to becoming ageless. And it's what you would learn within a quantum touch becoming ageless workshop. And so let's just take a little bit step back and show you what's actually happening at the subatomic microscopic level when we're using quantum touch. And our wonderful host Renee, I'll now just share with us the first photograph that I'd like to share with you each and all. Now, this is a microscopic image actually taken by Richard Gordon, the founder of Quantum Touch himself. And looky what it shows here. It shows that the cells, and this is a saline solution, it shows that the cells in this saline solution are completely sort of collapsed. It shows actually that they're quite disorganized. And we would call this phenomena entropy. It actually means that the cells have got a kind of a tendency towards non-life or death. It's in a death process. Now, that has not received quantum touch energy. This is just saline solution not received quantum touch energy. It's just in a collapsed sort of state of being. Now, Richard then offered a saline solution, exactly the same saline solution, about 10 minutes of quantum touch energy. And look what actually happens. So this is just level 1 of quantum touch. And Renee will bring up the next slide. Now, isn't that beautiful? Look at the difference. Look how incredible those cells are. They've come into structure, they've come into organization. They're almost like beautiful pyramids, as someone said to me the other day. Now, that is very demonstrative of what we call syntropy. It's actually when the cells are moving towards life. Yeah, so energy healing actually reverses entropy and stimulates syntropy, which is very, very important to the healing process. So, for example, if you had cut your finger, that then is going through a process of entropy. Yeah, everything's disordered, disorganized, it's going into a state of kind of death and non life. Yeah, and then when we offer healing, or when the body naturally goes into a state of healing through the energies and the wisdom and guidance of the inner healer, but very much accelerated by healing, then we're going into syntropy and the finger heals itself. So that's how quantum touch is actually working. And it's very much showing us so visually the phenomena of energy healing. So becoming ageless is very much based on these principles, and the new class that's been developed has previously only been a 1 day class, but now we've actually transformed it into a 2 day class because we have actually discovered so many new things and new techniques to add on to the basic process of enhancing syntropy. And there's no better way to show this than some photographic evidence. So our wonderful Renee is going to bring up a photograph of a gentleman's arm, and it's before receiving quantum touch, the actual ageless vibration. So this is a gentleman's arm before receiving 15 minutes, it might have been 10, 15 minutes of quantum touch, becoming ageless, level 7. So you can see here that this arm is very much, it has a kind of, creping and very sort of tissue paper consistency to it. And then after receiving the infinity vortex technology, this is exactly what happened. Quite remarkable, isn't it? I think you'd all agree that that is just astonishing, given that it was simply 10 or 15 minutes of this reversing aging process. And we have another really, really remarkable one. It was quite recently of a lady's hand. And again, this is before, and I think the photo also shows the after effect. So the before photograph is at the top of the screen. You can see the skin there seems to be really quite thickened and reddened and wrinkled there. And on the below photograph on the collage, after receiving the infinity vortex technology, you can see what a difference. Now, when we first received this photograph and showed it to everyone, that this is what becoming ageless is actually capable of, they said, well, that can't be the same hand. Yeah. So what Richard did, very clever, he took the photograph and he highlighted very clearly the identifying markers that prove it's exactly the same hand. So you can see here that there is an actual sort of a spot that's circled, a matching spot there, and there's also a matching sort of mark a little scar or something there on the thumb, that little crease there. So I think we can all agree that this is actually the same hand. Now, within the Becoming Ageless workshop, we show so many more examples, and you would have examples, extraordinary examples yourself. You would witness things like I have, like hair reversing the graying impact and returning back to its natural color. You would see sagging skin return to its natural firmness. You would see all kinds of amazing things. And so I'd just like to invite Henry, who's actually teaching Becoming Ageless with me, the 2-day version in Portugal. And Henry, I'd love to bring you to the call to just talk a little bit about your experience with Becoming Ageless.
Thank you, Deborah. It was quite an interesting experience having that 1 day ageless in Mexico last autumn. And I was not expecting to feel any result. I approach any new class with, well, what the heck, let's try it. What have we got to lose? But this is quantum touch, and I know quantum touch is effective. So what I discovered was since that time, I have seen lines on my forehead reduce, 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 um, completely unexpectedly. I wasn't even aiming for that effect. I have experienced working with elder clients who've had bone issues, and I will be in a healing session offering energy. And right when I'm there, I'm not even thinking about infinity vortex or level 7. I'm doing quantum touch level 1, level 2, level 4, the standards. And then all of a sudden, I see the infinity vortex hop into inside the area of concern that this 86-year-old client had, a place where she had previously fractured. Um, and right below her knee. And she goes, wow, what was that? Something changed. And I could feel it as well. There was an immediate warmth. It was as if she could breathe more in that area. And at the same time, something inside her felt strong. She said, let me stand up. And she stood up and she said, wow, where'd it go? Where'd that ache go? And this would have been the place that since she had fractured that part of her leg, hmm, 5 years prior, every time she stood up, she felt it, she noticed it. It doesn't matter what age we begin this work. These techniques can be profoundly effective. I I have seen it. As long as you're in your body, as long as you're breathing, and the intent is welcoming, syntropy, oh boy, does it come in. I have lots more stories. I'll save them for later.
Yeah, and Henry and myself both agreed before we started the call that we would reveal our ages just so you could all get a sense of, how it's impacted us. So I'll actually be 54 in just 2 months. And Henry?
I'll be 74 in 2 months.
Yeah, I can see gasps
Actually,
coming
not too
from.
much. Excuse me. At the end of this month. Wait, this is July, right?
Yeah.
This month.
Yeah, so I can see many folks gasping in the gallery just now. So really, we are sort of, very much embodying the infinity vortex right now. And so it's something
Yeah.
it's just been priceless in my life. And as I work with it on clients and with students, they're saying, this is the best hand cream I've ever used. There was
Mhm.
one lady who was using all this expensive hand cream and, having all kinds of facials and cosmetic bits and pieces done on her face. And she said it was actually saving her a fortune in Botox and, all these procedures. And so lots of you laughing in the gallery now.
What's different for me, because I've been working at my computer a whole lot more than I normally do this past 6 months, have a series of deadlines for projects. I haven't been out walking like I normally do, swimming every day in the ocean like I normally do. I live in Hawaii, very grateful for that. What I discovered after working with the material in, especially some of the new material that's coming up in level 7, um, so I've started to do some exercises at night and I can feel the centropy moving in. I start having memories of when my body was a whole lot more active and experiencing it in the now, feeling like, oh, my energy just feel in my leg. I could feel it, felt my leg was twice as long as it was. And I haven't had that experience working with when I've been doing leg lifts or something before. So something is different. This infinity vortex is beyond words. Wonderful.
For sure.
Deborah,
And
can we
just to
share?
say that was the sorry?
Can you share? Can we give them a little experience? Can
Oh, absolutely. But just before we give a little experience, Henry, I was just going to say this is unlike any vortex that you might have experienced within quantum touch before. You know, there are
yes.
vortexes, for instance, we use vortexing in level 1. This is completely different. Yeah. So we are going to give you an exercise to really immerse yourself in something really interesting. But just before we go there, I'll just relate a couple of really interesting stories. So we know from level 1, for instance, and perhaps some of you haven't taken that, and that's okay. But in level 1, we very much are pointing towards reality actually being incredibly malleable, incredibly fluid. Yeah. And quantum physicists tell us something very interesting. They tell us also that time is not an absolute reality either. Now, isn't that interesting? Physicists are telling us these things, that time is actually a construct. So it's sort of made of energy, but it's not actually an absolute reality. So wherever there's a construction, there's going to be the opposite, right? There's going to be a destruction as well. And fortunately, we each and all of us have this capacity within us to ask questions, to really inquire into what I call an aspect of the fountain of youth. Now, the fountain of youth is something that resides within each and every one of us. And we go into that in a lot more detail in Becoming Ageless as well. But one of the aspects of the fountain of youth is to really inquire into this capacity that we have to question reality itself. And actually, I'm doing this all the time. And this is where incredible change is possible. Yeah. And I'll just give you two little examples just to inspire you all. So, the very first client who came to me about an age related skin condition, yeah, she called it age related acne. Now, something about that just struck me. Age related acne, and she related the story to me about how she'd had acne, very troublesome acne, since she was 13 years old, and she was now 33 years old, and she had tried everything. She'd exhausted every possibility with a professional dermatologist, and she was literally at her wit's end. And I thought, ooh, this is a juicy one to work with. So the exercise we're going to do is actually going to incorporate what I used with this lady with age-related acne. What happened to her age-related acne? It completely disappeared. And it was a 30-minute distant healing session. I'd never seen the girl, I'd never met the girl, but the agreement was that she would take a picture before the session and then take a picture after the session. And we have those pictures. They're absolutely remarkable, and they would be shared with you in a Becoming Ageless workshop. But in this exercise, we're going to go through what I did with this lady's age related acne. And there was also a lady who came to me after that with age spots. Now, I'd never heard of such a thing. I was like, what the heck is an age spot? Age spot? And I started to find this interesting pattern where people were referring to conditions according to their age-related acne and age spots. And I started to, I'm from a very scientific background. I was a scientist prior to being with Quantum Touch. And, I started to wonder into, oh, that's really interesting because in quantum physics, we know that time and therefore age is just a construct. Quantum touch shows us very clearly that reality is really malleable, it's very fluid, it's very changeable. So I started to wonder about age-related conditions and age spots. What happened with the lady with the age spots? They completely vanished with a distant healing session of 15 minutes, before and after photos. Just incredible stuff. So I hope those little stories inspire you. You see, we're going to go into an exercise to actually experience it ourselves. Another important note before that is that the observer, quantum mechanics tells us that the observer affects the observed. So interestingly, we can use that scientific knowledge to affect what we observe. So now the important thing to note is that both those ladies believed very strongly that they had those conditions, that those conditions were real and unchangeable. Yeah, so they had a very strong belief, a strong construct of energy. Yeah, but I didn't have that belief at all. So when the other, the observer, doesn't hold the belief in their energetic vibration, then there's no consensus reality because you're operating from two completely different energetic realities. Isn't that so cool? So therefore, those two ladies had the opportunity to totally deconstruct the unreal. I know it sounds a little bit scientific, but it's ever so easy. Really, it is. So, would you like to all just perhaps put your attention on something that's age related that sort of bothers you a bit? Now, that could be something like a crease or a between the eyebrows furrow or an age spot, or maybe you do have age-related acne, or whatever that is for you. Maybe it's graying hair, or, a bit of sagging skin or something of that nature. So if you'd like to just take a picture of it, it's exciting. You could take a little selfie of it. You don't have to share it with anyone. It's just for your own self-reference. But this is a really interesting scientific quantum experiment working with the energy field. And so now you've got a very clear visual on that particular object. Okay, so you've observed it. Yeah. And now I'm just going to ask you all to gently close your eyes. Now, I'm completely aware that most of you here aren't familiar with the infinity vortex, which is what we would actually use. It's the secret key really to this exercise and to becoming ageless level 7. But nothing to worry, because Henri and myself are going to offer each and every one of you, there's hundreds of you here today, and you'll still get the benefit of this on the recording. You absolutely will. Yeah, we teach online all the time, and the impact can be absolutely as effective, if not more, So you can just have the idea that myself and Henri are now offering each and all of you the infinity vortex. Now, just remind yourself of what we're working with. Yeah? So take your attention to that part of yourself that you're a little bit uncomfortable with, you don't particularly like it or anything like that. You know, you're a bit not so sure about this crinkle or crease or age spot or whatever. And that's perfectly all right. So what Henri and myself are inviting you to now is just to bring your attention and your intention to the energy underneath that particular age spot or crease or whatever it is. So we're just placing our attention very loosely and softly and gently and lovingly underneath that particular energetic construction. And Henri and myself are just offering the infinity vortex to that. That really is the key ingredient. Now, you're believing that that appearance, that wrinkle or age spot is completely real. But neither myself or Henri are believing that that is real or solid or true or anything of that nature. And remember when I said in quantum mechanics, the observer affects the observed? Yeah, so myself and Henri are not consenting to your reality right now. We're offering a very powerful infinity vortex reality to each and every one of you. And we're offering the energy to the energy that's holding that limitation, that crinkle or crease or age spot in place. And so we're just working with that just now. It might be that you can actually feel that occurring in real time. But talking about time, that's an interesting construct, isn't it? Yeah, remember what it says in quantum physics, that time is not an absolute reality. So therefore, we can ask a question, we have that capacity. We can inquire to that particular age spot or crinkle or whatever it is. We can inquire very sincerely with a real desire to know the truth. We can ask the question, what age are you? So we're asking that wrinkle or age spot or whatever it is, what age are you? With a real sincerity to know. Now, it's not a logical answer. It's not like a mental answer that we're looking for. We're just looking for an energetic response in your energy system. So you may feel something happening right now. You may feel a sort of a loosening of that construct, that matrix of energy that's been holding it together. And we're just really offering all that energy now, that infinity vortex. We're adding in the fountain of youth also. It's another technique taught and shared within Becoming Ageless. So myself and Henri are really immersing each and every one of you in that right now. So really have the idea that you're soaking it all in to your utmost capacity. Really drinking deeply of that infinity vortex and all the energy and essence of that fountain of youth that's being offered. And we're watching each and every one of you in the gallery now. And I can tell you it's an absolutely beautiful picture. Really allow yourself to receive everything that's on offer. And you can direct your attention to that energy that's underneath the thing, underneath the age spot, underneath the wrinkles, underneath the grey hair, whatever is holding that in place, you can offer that healing energy there. And let's see what actually is possible. And Henri, do you have anything to add at this point as we're breathing and sweeping together?
You just said it. Yes, just breathe and allow the energy to flow, receive.
So we're asking that question with true sincerity. That's exactly what I was doing with the lady with the age-related acne. I was asking the acne, what age are you? Now, because that question refers to an untruth, the lie cannot remain when it's exposed. We do not have an age. It does not have an age. It is truly ageless. What I saw so clearly when the infinity vortex downloaded is that aging is an entrainment in society that we don't have to choose. And so what age is it, that wrinkle? So you can ask directly, what age are you? And it's not about receiving an answer, remember. It's about offering the energetic response that comes to the energy holding that construct in place so that it can very easily disintegrate, dissolve, and just evaporate. That lady's acne was gone in 30 minutes. It never came back. Ever. She never had another outbreak. The lady's age spots, whatever the heck they are, they vanished, never came back. And that was when I knew the possibilities of this becoming ageless level 7.
The fact that reality is so much more fluid than maybe we've ever considered. Just there's an ocean and we can surf very beautifully.
Absolutely. And another super powerful vibration within the becoming ageless is feel the relief of youthing. Feel the relief that you're actually youthing right now, that you are already in a youthing process. Can you imagine doing this for 2 whole days in a workshop in a beautiful location next to the beach with all pools and oh,
It's like letting yourself out of jail.
yeah,
It really is.
yeah,
We can really open this up.
for sure. And so
And with
just,
everyone's intention
yeah,
joining. Go ahead.
absolutely. Yeah, the power of a group, as Henri's pointing out, the power of being in a group of like-minded and like-hearted individuals who are breathing and sweeping the infinity vortex and the fountain of youth and all the other juicy techniques to you for 2 whole days. And so just take another couple of breaths, enjoying how you feel, feeling the relief as fully as possible that you're already in this youthing process.
And it will continue even after this meditation. ends.
Absolutely. Yeah. Probably for another 2 or 3 or 4 days, I would
That's
say.
nice.
And
That's been my
certainly,
experience.
yeah,
Hmm.
certainly take your after selfie. And then I would also suggest that you take another one in the same position with the same lighting effect. That's very important. Within maybe 3 or 4 days from now. And just look for yourself at the difference. And so
So
it would
many
be,
changes happening.
yeah,
You can
it
see.
would be
I know.
wonderful to hear what changes. Yeah,
Yeah. You might find beliefs that you thought were so fixed suddenly are not so important to you. So it's not just the physical that shifts, it's the your whole energy begins to centripede orient.
for
Mhm.
sure. Yeah, some folks say they just feel so vital and so young again. They feel fitter. They're just feeling so well after learning reversing aging. So it doesn't have to be necessarily about what looks change, but just, how you're feeling so vital inside, so revitalized.
And with all quantum touch, when you offer this to others in a session, you're receiving this as well.
Yeah,
So anyone who want to become practitioners or just have a wonderful daily regimen of this,
yeah.
help
Marcy,
yourself,
Marcy,
help your
who's with us,
family.
yeah, Marcy, who's with us, is saying she could feel her whole body shaking and as if the
Yeah,
cells were changing. And yeah, that's
they
quite
are.
yeah, they are. Cool experience. So is it perhaps a good time to have some feedback or maybe some questions you might have in the audience?
Thank you,
Excellent time.
Deborah. Thank you, Deborah and Henry. Yes, I'd love to segue into the Q&A segment of the webinar today. So for those of you who have questions, you can start putting them in the chat, and we'll give people a couple of minutes just to get their questions written out. And in the meantime, Henry and Deborah, could you please tell us a little bit about the opportunity that people have to take this workshop in person in Portugal in October? And the really exciting part is that for early bird registrations, there's a $300 discount available. I'll put the information in the chat, but if you could tell us a little bit about this Quantum Touch retreat that is taking place in October, that would be fantastic. And then we'll get into the Q&A. Thank you.
Is actually a 2-class event. So there's going to be, we start out with level 6 quantum touch, which is becoming more, where we learn to really open up the gifts that are inherent inside ourselves, and then share the warm, wonderful, powerful gifts with each other. And there are also healing techniques in the level 6 workshop. This class has transformed my life in such a dramatic way. My business quadrupled after this first level 6 workshop. And so it's a 2.5-day class, immediately followed by a 2-day level 7 that Deborah is going to instruct, and I'll be helping in an incredible location in Portugal. Deborah, have you been to Portugal? I have not, so I
Yeah,
am
I
looking
actually have
forward.
not been to Portugal, but a
Yeah.
student who lives there wrote to me and said it's absolutely amazing there. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's
That sounds
four,
fantastic.
it's a
As you're
four
talking,
and a
Henry,
quarter day. Yes.
wonderful. I'll just
Hmm.
post some pictures of the resort as you're talking. It's the
Yes.
Tivoli Albor Algarve Resort, and it looks absolutely amazing. I think I'm getting younger just looking at the pictures of the resort.
Yeah. And someone asked in the chat, does the skin peel with they becoming ageless? And actually, we had a really interesting experience with that in Mexico. There was a lady there called Meg, and she actually experienced a full facial peel. Her skin was peeling from her hands. And she didn't have to go to, a cosmetician or, any kind of dermatologist for that, and she had very radiant skin underneath, of course, so yeah, that can happen. Hmm.
Mhm.
Wonderful. So I've posted the registration link in the chat along with the $300 discount for early bird registrations by July 15th. And so we'll get into the Q&A now. We have some great questions coming up. And one of them is, from Sandy, thank you, Sandy, for your question. Does the client and practitioner need to have the belief it will work in order to get results?
No, absolutely not. This will work even for the most skeptical. I can assure you. I'm a scientist. Yeah.
Great. Uh, and another question uh, from Marcy. CNS can be healed with these techniques, question mark.
Oh, there's every possibility because the infinity vortex works on every level. So that would certainly be included. And so with the infinity vortex, it's not just exclusively reversing, slowing, and stopping the aging process that it would work with. It would work on all body systems. It works on an emotional level, a mental level, spiritual level. Folks have experienced tremendously expanded consciousness and had all kinds of experiences with it. So I certainly would not exclude any condition from, being benefited by the infinity vortex. Mm.
Wonderful. Brenda asks, is the infinity vortex something that everyone has access to, but not everyone experiences because they're not aware of it?
That could be very possible. I believe that it's, all these things are available. Everything is, as Richard Gordon says, there are infinite possibilities in the infinite universe. And so everything is available. But when we can tune in our particular frequency, it's like, we are the remote control, and you can tap into any frequency. And just that particular day, that Richard had encouraged me to ask that question, how can folks readily reverse aging? The infinity vortex arrived as a download because that's the frequency that I was searching for. Yeah. And so, yes, anyone can have access to it, but it might just require, an instructor's guidance to kind of, tune in your remote control.
I love that analogy, Deborah. And
Yeah.
funnily enough, I had a client the other day, and it was his first quantum touch session with me using the foundational techniques, not the becoming ageless techniques. And after the session, his wife told him that he looked younger. And that has happened so many times with clients. So even the basic
Mhm.
quantum touch techniques can get people started, and then they can really dial into it through the Becoming Ageless workshop. So we have a great question from Maggie. Is there an online course for the Infinity Vortex and Fountain of Youth training so that I don't have to travel so far? I'm in Canada. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about if it is offered online and the benefits of doing the in-person workshop.
Mhm. The benefits of the in-person workshop would be that, as I experienced myself in Mexico and Florida and Henri also, I mean, what's it like, Henri, when you have, all these quantum touch buddies
Yeah,
offering the energy?
an embodied experience,
It's
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something so special. Yes, it is offered online. There isn't one being offered at the moment with Quantum Touch, but there may well be in future. Who knows? Who knows? There's one offered at the moment through the Shift Network, but it's already ongoing. So, Yeah, but Quantum Touch may offer one in the future for sure, online.
One
Okay,
thing,
thank you, Deborah.
may I
Yeah,
make
Go
a
ahead,
comment,
Henry.
Renee?
Yes,
of
One
course.
yes.
thing that you do need to be aware of is that in order to attend this retreat in Portugal or 11th, level 6 and 7, you do need to have attended a level 1 quantum touch first. And we have lots of time
Mm.
before October for you to take a class either online or in person. Worldwide, we have so many instructors available. The Quantum Touch website will have those classes posted, and just sign up and start having that life-giving and life-enhancing opportunity, and that level 1 quantum touch will give you. Definitely.
That's an excellent point. Thank you, Henry. And for those of you who are new, the Quantum Touch website is quantumtouch.com. I will post it in the chat as well. And we'll continue with our questions here. We have a question from Kevin. Could this help with discoloration from varicose veins?
Yes. Categorically, yes. We've seen it. Yeah, we've seen that happen. Any kind of discoloration, mhm, age-related.
Amazing. And then we have Sandy asking the question, can this reverse the age of organs?
I don't see why not.
Yes, why not?
So Richard Gordon's chronological age, believe it or not, is actually 77. He doesn't mind sharing that at all. But his biological age is more like in the 40s. I think last time he told me it was 42 or something. Is that correct, Henry?
I think that was in that
Yeah.
vicinity, and
Yeah.
we can
So
choose.
biologically, yeah,
Yeah.
his organs are young, 42
Mhm,
year old organs, even though chronologically he's 77. Yeah. Mm.
mhm.
That is amazing. And I can say firsthand, I did a Zoom recording once with Richard, and
Yeah.
in the middle of it, he was telling me how rejuvenated he feels, how young he feels, how strong he is. And he literally dropped to the floor and gave 50 push-ups on the spot.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
warm-up, nothing. And that's pretty extraordinary for somebody of his age, completely unprompted, spontaneous, and they
Mhm.
were full real push-ups. I was very impressed. Cleo asks, will there be seminars in the USA soon?
I
Hopefully.
believe, yeah, next year, Henry?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, I we're thinking perhaps the next retreat might be back in Cancun, maybe in the spring. Um, it's spring of 2026, so we're not sure yet, but we're thinking about that, or somewhere not in the US, but close to the US. We might, it just depends on, most of our participants like all-inclusive resorts, and we don't have many of those in the United States, and that's the main limiting factor. But possibilities are infinite, so let's see what else we can manifest with that.
Excellent. To stay updated on upcoming Quantum Touch events, webinars, retreats, and so on, just be sure that you're signed up to the Quantum Touch newsletter, which you can do that through the Quantum Touch website at quantumtouch.com. And we have another question from Brenda. How do you use the infinity vortex to regulate female hormones? Great
Yeah,
question.
brilliant question. Yeah, brilliant question. You can place your intention on having complete harmony, and the infinity vortex will, bring you into that balance. Yeah, we have a lot of ladies who've been asking about, that transition, and that's seemingly what the infinity vortex is really working well with, bringing all
Mhm.
the hormones into balance and harmony. Yeah.
Wonderful. We have another question from Kevin. How quickly do you see physical healing?
It can take any amount of time, healing can happen instantaneously, truly. It can also take time. We have each and every one of us residing inside us, our inner healer. And healing happens in accordance to the wisdom of your inner healer at a pace that is in kindness to you. So really How long is a piece of string would be the answer to that one, but it can happen very quickly. Mm.
That's pretty exciting. We have Suna asks, does the Quantum Touch course I bought from Richard count as an entry for the seminar? I practice it in my clinic. So that would be the pre-recorded course, I believe. And Deborah or Henri, you can answer that.
I don't think it is. I think you want to be in a live level one where you can get feedback from the instructor, where you can actually experience and ask your questions and have someone there who's qualified and experienced with quantum touch to facilitate your skill set expanding. And it definitely does. So no. Either
Excellent. Yeah.
virtual or in person. It can be either one, but it's a live class. Yeah.
Yes, so the level one prerequisite can be taken, as Deborah and Henri have mentioned, online or in person. And there are always, every week, there are workshops being offered all around the world, which
Yes.
people can find on the Quantum Touch website.
Mhm.
So we have a question from Brenda. Can the infinity vortex help motivate and inspire us to eat a healthy diet and exercise, etc.? Great question.
I have
Henri?
lots of
Yes.
experience with this. Yes, in the past month, it has been my best friend. The infinity vortex really does have a mind of its own, and there's a brilliance, and the deep, deep wisdom, just like all of the energies that are involved with quantum touch. There's energy goes where we need it to go, and the deep intelligence within our own systems. Um, this is what nourishes and sustains us. So yes, absolutely. Use it. Syntropy in
For sure.
action.
Yeah, and I've worked with folks with the infinity vortex who've noticed that very naturally cravings for, those kind of junky foods just sort of tend to dissipate and dissolve very naturally. So that's kind of an interesting side effect.
It absolutely has.
That's
Again.
fascinating. So Marcy says that her live certification was from 2007. So I'm not sure if
No
she's
problem.
asking if that would still qualify her as a prerequisite.
Yes.
And the answer is yes. Okay, wonderful.
As
Brenda,
long as you have
go
that
ahead.
record, yes.
Okay. Great. So Marcy, if you have any further questions about that, then just post them in the chat. So Brenda asks, when you set an intention, do you bring that intention to mind each day when running the energy ?
Yeah, some people do that and other people don't. What I tend to do is set it, the intention, and then forget about it. And the reason that I do that is because a great teacher said to me about 20 years ago, if the sun and the moon were to doubt, they would go out. Yeah. So it's like if you're constantly intending the same thing again and again and again, it's like asking the universe multiply because you doubt that it actually got the message. So set the intention, set a powerful, strong intention from the correct vibration, and then just know that, it is actually done. It's been communicated and you let it go. So there's no doubt at all. And we also talk about that very much in the Becoming Ageless 2-day workshop. It was added into the second day of being, very much in that conviction of the energy, very much being coherent in full communication with the infinity vortex, where you have that knowing, that when you set an intention, it is done. It's set and it's done. Like the lady with the age-related acne, and that, I wasn't doubting anything. I'm very, very clear on, that the life force energy is infinite. The infinity vortex is infinite. And when you truly get into that energy, you know the power that you're working with. Yeah. And it is a supreme power of the universe. So why would you doubt it? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you, Deborah. Brenda also asks, does the infinity vortex help dissolve stuck energetic trauma in the body?
Yes. Because it has an incredible velocity to it. It's actually spinning. It is a vortex. So a lot of people, it's the first thing they notice is that things start to get sort of cleared out. Yeah.
Amazing. Cleo asks, do the changes remain for clients with just one session?
Certainly can. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the acne on that lady never came back, and it had been there since she was 13. She was 33 when I worked with her. It has not come back. So, and that was one 30-minute session.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
I think
Amazing.
Henri has something to add.
But always the inner healer, that this deep integral intelligence that we have inside. If we need to experience more or understand more, then that is going to come up to the surface too. And so every step in this healing process is a journey toward greater and greater centripede. And just allowing yourself the time of however long you need or however short, your intention empowers the work. Yeah, and the relief makes everything worth it. So,
Yeah,
yes.
beautiful. Yeah.
Amazing. So we have a couple of more minutes. I have a question. We had many new people register for this webinar today who are new to quantum touch, new to these concepts, and maybe have never done energy healing before, or are just starting out in energy healing. And is it really possible for them to learn these techniques and see the extraordinary results that we're talking about today? Do they have to have been doing energy healing for 20, 30 years, or even 50 years like Richard Gordon? Can they see results soon if they're just starting out?
Yes. I saw my first
Definitely.
result in 10 minutes with Quantum Touch Level 1. I was a complete beginner 23 years ago or so, and in 10 minutes I had my first amazing result. Yeah. Henri?
That's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
No, the shifts happen. And once doors open, it's really hard to go out that door again. You don't go back. You don't want to go back. So,
Excellent. We have a question. Thank you. We have a question from Brenda who says, to change hair from gray to dark, would you set the intention and then run the energy a few minutes each day, feeling as if the darkening hair is happening?
Yes. Perfect. And actually, when myself and Richard were teaching Becoming Ageless in Mexico, there was a lady who was actually watching in real time on her iPhone as her hair changed from grey back to its natural color. She was watching it on her phone. So it's absolutely possible. And Richard himself has
Wow.
noticed that his
we've been
hair
sending.
is also returning to its natural dark color. He's been sending me photos regularly of the
Yes.
update. He's been
Yeah.
getting
We'll get an
upgraded hair.
email.
Yeah.
Okay, this is today's new growth.
Yeah.
And we'll
I did see some of those photos. That's pretty extraordinary.
Yeah.
The and
However,
Oh, go ahead, Henri.
However, some of us might not want our hair to go back dark. I'm one of those. I'm going to keep my hair the way it is. So I have that intention, and there's every possibility for that. So,
Yeah.
Great. So we have another couple of questions before we finish off the hour. Suna asks, so level 1 is enough to apply for the seminar. That's the only prerequisite, correct, ladies?
Yes.
mhm.
Excellent. And Sue Ellen writes, I've had level 1 and 2, supercharging and core transformation. It becomes a way of life. Okay, great. This isn't a question. I will be 84 in 3 days and still have my natural hair color. That is
Wow. Yeah.
extraordinary. Good for you,
Well
Sue Ellen.
done. Yeah.
Amazing. And this, I have one final question of my own to round off the hour, which is, what are the limits of this work? Are there
Oh,
limits to this work?
no, we've not found any so far, have we,
No,
Henry?
no. No.
It'll be so much fun in Portugal, you know. It'll be so much fun exploring. Where are those limits?
I know. And this class is, as you're hearing from Deborah, that the class is evolving. And I imagine this is not the final stake the class will be in. So come and join in the journey of it and add to that transformation. And because this is part of what Quantum Touch does, it invites all of us to have our own insights grow the work. And so your insights, your connections with the infinity vortex will help us all. So come participate.
For sure. And I look forward to, you're very welcome to send your pictures, if you'd like to, if you've noticed a difference. We'd love to see what happened as a result of the exercise.
Yeah. Can we ask them if they can want to raise their hand or share? Not, we can't do a poll. Okay. So.
Great. Suna asks, can I take the course in Germany in person? So the Becoming Ageless is not currently being offered yet in Germany. The next one is in Portugal. I've posted the link in the chat, and there's no level 1. Okay, yes, we do have. I believe we do have instructors in Germany. No, we have instructors all over the world. Do you have anything to add to that, Henri?
If you want, you can look online, the Quantum Touch website. If there's nothing is visible, then email me or Jennifer at Quantum Touch, actually. You can email Jennifer and good. And so we can actually connect to some of our instructors there to see when they can next offer. Mm.
Great. I posted Jennifer's email in the chat. So for anybody who's looking for a level 1 workshop near you to take in person, then you can either look on the Quantum Touch website. There's a searchable directory calendar of workshops being offered all around the world, or you can email Jennifer directly and she can connect you with an instructor in your area. So on that note, ladies, thank you so much for this extraordinary webinar today. This is a topic that I'm extremely excited about. It's something that lights me up, and I can sense that for many of you who attended today or who will be watching the replay, that this is something that really connects with your spirit, with what is possible, the exploration of what is possible through energy healing. So thank you, ladies, for your wisdom. I'm very excited about this retreat that is being offered by Quantum Touch in October. The full retreat is October 17th to 21st in Portugal. And I've put the link in the chat a few times. If you can also email Quantum Touch or visit the website for all the information. And there is a $300 discount being offered for registrations by July 15th. And do you have any final closing words, Henri and Deborah? Thank you for your presence today.
I'd just love to. Yes,
go
on, Henri.
The hotel also has a special rate for participants. So, but they're holding it only for, I think, the middle of the month, I believe. So sooner is better for you if you want a discounted rate at the hotel. Sorry.
Excellent. Thank you, Henri. And Deborah, go ahead.
Perfect. I'd just love to thank you, Renee, for being such a wonderful organizer and host, so enthusiastic as always. And thanks also to Henri, who'll be co-teaching with me. I'm super excited in Portugal, and to each and all of you as well for your participation and your contribution to this wonderful webinar. And those of you who are watching the replay, everything's going to work, as you watch the replay, the energy will be absolutely identical, so you'll still get the full impact, won't they, Henri?
Definitely, absolutely. And thank you all. Everything that Deborah just said, and feel the relief. Come, feel the relief. Yes. We see you there.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And we had
everyone.
one final question by Sandy in the chat. Will we get a replay? And the answer is yes. So the
Yes.
replay will be sent out automatically very soon. Thank you to everyone for your presence today. And may we all stay young and get younger.
Yes.
So much love, light, and energy, life force energy to you all. Bye-bye, everybody.
Yeah.